Boom, 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 boom. SUJOBAE podcast.
Audio 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes! Episode 4. You guys been waiting. It's finally here. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Joseph Kim.
I'm Suzie Lee.
And I'm Matthew Bae.
And this is the SUJOBAE podcast, episode 4.
Woo!
We are fresh off retreat as well. How was you guys' weekends? How was your week so far?
Well, my weekend was literally just retreat. So, for those who don't know, the church group that we go to here at Purdue, Cornerstone, we probably mentioned it a lot, but Cornerstone, we had a retreat over the weekend, last weekend.
Yeah.
It was about an hour away, down in like Lebanon, I think.
Yes,
Or something like that. So we went there. It was fun. Had a good time. But I got like 5 hours of sleep in 2 days. So
Same.
Literally crashed right
that
after.
was not fun. So we're still recovering. But yeah, that was what I did. I don't know what
I think you should take your jacket off because it's making noises.
Yeah, Matt, take off that jacket. Come on, prepare. This is not your first time.
Should I say, Matt, you need to take off the jacket and then
End the podcast.
And everyone's like, whoa.
I think all of our weekends were the same.
Yeah, we all had retreat.
But
We don't like hanging out with each other that much.
Yeah.
I just want to keep that in mind. We don't like each other that much.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just happen to be.
And also, I don't like this week's it's been 2 days. I don't think we can talk about our weeks just yet. But from last podcast, I think
Yeah, since
know.
last recording, I guess.
it's been a ride.
Life's been a ride.
Yeah,
Roller
life's been
coaster.
a ride.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Had a lot of exams between then
For
and
real.
now. I had 3 the weekend or the week before retreat, and I was so dead during retreat mentally. I was like, oh, this is what I needed.
Food team did a great job though.
Thank you, man. Dude, the amount of food we had,
It was
pretty insane. We had a lot left over
pretty
too.
insane.
This is better though. Better to have leftover than run out, because people are gonna remember that. They're gonna be like, oh, that one retreat we didn't have food.
Yeah.
We're not like we were starving the whole time.
Yeah, well, so for today's topic, and you guys could probably judge already by the title potentially, but we're going to talk about pretty juicy topic, I would say. We're going to be talking about insecurities.
Woo!
And
Yup.
insecurities that we had when we were younger, so I guess maybe before college, and then
I mean, obviously.
like what if freshman year? Okay, but anyway, and then insecurities that we're kind of dealing with now. So we're gonna start. It's gonna be kind of juicy, so get ready for it. But you want to start?
Yeah. So before college, I actually didn't have a single insecurity, I don't think.
Best life.
Like, actually, I grew up so happy, and my high school was never competitive. I was, like, one of the only Asians, so I was pretty smart, although I'm not a smart person. Like, and my friends are just, we were all, like, we're just very pure. Like, we're all in Kentucky. Like, we go bowling. Like,
Sure, it's not the okay.
It is. We were.
Okay.
And, like, I just didn't have any, like, I didn't really think about how people would see me. I never really thought about the judgment. I was just always, like, after I got to, like, speak English perfectly, I didn't really, like, care. I didn't have insecurities. I just thought I was so funny, so pretty. Like, yeah, I was just so happy. Which I thank my mom for that, because she raised me with a lot of love. So then I didn't really feel like, I was, like, lacking it. So that's what I felt like before college.
Shout out Mama Lee.
Yeah, or her last name is Jung, but
Shout out Susie's mom.
yeah, there you go. So then whenever I first got here, I was still the same old, just happy me. But I was just happy to eat, like, food a lot. And I got freshman, like, 40. Or, like, I just got very big in a very short period of time. Okay, well, like...
Yeah, I was 50. What?
Yeah, around that. I don't think it was 40. I don't know.
You're
It was definitely not 40.
I was just
It was not
exaggerating.
40. Yeah.
But I've, like, never... Like, I was, like, the biggest I've been in my life. But even then, like, I wasn't insecure. Which someone should have definitely told me. But no one told me. No one, like, I don't know. And we're all just, like, vibing, as freshmen. And I was just really happy until I was in a relationship. Actually, should I talk about this?
If you want.
No, I mean, it's fine.
I mean, I just want to say though, you might think that no one told you, but every time we would eat at Wiley, you would grab like 4 plates of food, like just full plates of food.
Because we would do that.
Yeah.
So me, Joe, Sam, or Sungjae,
The
or whoever
freshmen,
was there,
right?
right? We would all come out, and all the guys would at least get 4 plates, right? But the thing is, you were like, well, I'm not gonna just be whoever. I'm gonna get 4 plates too. But the thing is,
We
you
would
never
finish it,
finish
though.
it. You would
Yeah.
never finish it.
Yeah, we would finish it, but
Yeah.
she would never finish it, and she like every time we leave, she like, bro, I'm so full.
Yeah.
Like you would always max out every time
Yeah.
you would eat.
Okay, that's true. Well, anyways, I was in a relationship in my freshman year,
Mm.
and since I was like on a bigger side, and like my ex at the time was not, and so I heard a lot. There were a lot of jokes about, you know, like, oh my gosh, she is like the bigger person in the relationship, or just like a lot of jokes around, like, or to me at least. Yeah, sizes, yeah. And at the moment I like played along, I guess. But as the time went, it definitely like got into my head. And by the end of freshman year, I was so depressed, I think. And obviously I didn't really show that.
Mm.
But I was just really, really like not happy with how I like looked, I guess. Mostly just body image. Just I hated how I looked. And then summer went by, and summer is just worse because like at home, like your mom
Yeah.
just cooks you food, whatever.
You
I
whatever you
came,
want.
yeah, and
For sure.
yeah, and I came back sophomore year, literally the most unhappiest I've ever been.
Most unhappy.
Most unhappy I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not tell Joseph or Matt this, but I went through a pretty severe eating disorder for like the whole sophomore year.
Mm.
And it started from me just like not liking myself, and I like wanted to, at that time I like wanted to punish myself. I was like, wow, I don't even deserve to eat. Like I don't know, I just felt so like, I don't know, I like just hated how I was. And since like working out, it like you can lose weight, but it takes a long time, and like it's a lot of progress.
It's
And, like,
commitment. Yeah.
yeah, so I was like, no, I'm gonna take the shortcut. Or like I really just like I wanted to lose weight so badly that like I would like eat food and I would like throw it up, or like yeah, stuff like that. And it got worse and worse and worse throughout the year. And the bad thing is like in the beginning I didn't really realize that like that was like something I shouldn't be doing. Like I was just like, oh, like it's whatever, like this is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Until my friend actually like caught me in action, or yeah, it's not how you say it. Yeah, caught me in action, and she was like, wait, like this is so like you shouldn't be doing that. And then it went on for a while, and I didn't really know what to do with myself, because like it's not something you can just like get out of, like
Right.
and you can't just like stop, you know. And like so many of my friends, or actually I didn't tell that many people, but people who knew were always just like, one friend told me that she was literally just like walking like in my hallway, so like to make sure that I like didn't go to the bathroom like overnight, which is like so nice of them. But it went on for a while, and I feel like the longer, I don't know, like towards the end of it, like I was like literally like broken. Like I didn't even want to like really like live anymore, or I was like, oh, like this is why people are like, oh, like I don't really care about my life anymore, because like literally like from the outside no one knew. That was like the worst part. People would be like, oh my gosh, Suzie, like you lost so much weight, but that would like crush me, because I'm like, wow, like I'm doing this for what, like, you know. So I think the biggest insecurity I have, and it's always like been, and I feel like it always will stick with me, is like how my body looks, more than my face. I mean, my face is part of my body, but that's not what I'm talking about. Just like my body shape is just something I'm very insecure about. And I didn't know like those like comments about like, you know, like those like fat jokes, like
Right.
for like it to be funny at first, like, or when I was a freshman, I didn't know they were like, they could like actually trigger something of like other people before I like
Never know.
went through things. Because then even when I was like going through that, a lot of people would still be like, you know, like I don't know, still make jokes about my body, and I just like hated that. And I remember like this happened too, but I accidentally like got to like know what my like guy friends were talking about me behind my back as a joke though. Like they were definitely joking, but like even just like reading those or like just hearing about other people like talk about me just like really made it hard. And now I think the reason why I decided to talk about it is because I'm like almost like over it now, and I'm definitely more. Thank you.
Woo!
I'm more okay with like who I am, but obviously like I have bad days or whatever, and sometimes I like when I eat a lot and I feel full, I feel so guilty, which is not something you should do because like feeling full is normal, completely normal. Maybe not maxing out every meal like I used to, but like yeah, feeling full is definitely normal. And like I don't know, I think it's still something I'm insecure about, but like I'm definitely like appreciating my body more, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to think more positively about myself. And but still, like when I get like sad or something, I would just like stop eating. I still have those days, but it's definitely a lot better than how I used to be.
Right. Yeah. I think it's kind. I think I kind of feel bad because like me and Joe would talk about what you were going through during those years. We didn't know it was a disorder, but we did know that we did realize that you were not eating, and you were like cutting down your eating, but then doubling your exercise. So me and Joe talked about it, saying that like that's very unhealthy because your body needs that energy to exercise, but you're cutting the energy and still exercising. So yeah, you are losing weight, but then you're losing a lot more than just weight.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if you remember, but remember I made you use one of my swipes. Do you remember that?
When was this?
Like when you were going through that. I remember I made you eat with me at PMU.
I think I remember.
Yeah. So and the thing is, it wasn't because like I was just trying to be nice, but people around you were telling me, "Can you just force Suzie to eat with you?" Because I think they knew you were going through a lot of things. And I remember like I made you use one of my swipes, and I just kind of watched you eat because I really wanted to make sure that you were like feeling okay. But again, like I think we didn't ever like go up to you and talk about it.
Confronted Suzie
because we never felt we didn't want to like overstep our boundary or anything, or like
we knew you were going through stuff.
Yeah, make it a big deal. So like I think I do remember that. I remember like us trying to like we knew about it, but we didn't know exactly the full.
But it's the worst because like no matter what other people say, it doesn't matter.
It's
like,
all in your head.
Yeah, like my friends would be like, Suzie, like you're like fine the way you are, or which they meant it probably, like you like but to me that's like I'm like I know you're lying, like don't even like cap. You
have
know?
your own lens.
Yeah, so it's just such a toxic like mentality.
I think everyone goes through that though. Like when I was in like a not so great relationship, I thought everyone that's told me it was a bad relationship I thought they were idiots. I thought they didn't know anything. That they were like as dumb as like the stupidest people I ever met. But then obviously when you're in it and you're experiencing it, nothing makes sense. So yeah, I think that's a very
you get
real.
blinded by your own thoughts. I do remember though, like junior year, or first semester junior year when you guys were juniors and I was in the military. I looked on Instagram and I saw Suzie post a selfie, like full body selfie. I think it was like a mirror selfie or something. You were pretty skinny, like compared to like freshman year body.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to be like I wanted to take it a good way. I'm like, yo, she lost a lot of weight, but I was like kind of shocked at how much she lost compared to, because I knew you were going through the whole dieting and fasting thing of like trying to lose weight. And like everyone wants to lose weight, so there's nothing wrong with that, but you lost a lot. And I was like, dang, she must have either like really worked out a lot or she must be starving because you lost a lot of weight. So I do remember that. You would just go through massive weight reduction through not eating, and
it was so not healthy. I felt like crap probably like every single day, and I couldn't even sleep.
Right?
Because like I mean, as much as like salads are good, it doesn't provide you the nutrients.
Yeah, you need protein, you need carbs.
You need carbs.
As a student, you just need nutrition because your brain is like 24/7 always have to do work. So not for the physical, but more the mental and just the energy to stay up in class. Honestly, just gotta maintain a regular diet. But I think that kind of struggle is similar to me as well.
Oh, you can start.
Are you done?
Oh yeah, you can go.
Yeah, I didn't want to like go in the middle or like interrupt your flow or anything. Yeah. But I do struggle with something similar along the lines. It's a lot less of a, I guess I wouldn't really call it a disorder because I don't consider it a disorder. But it's not. I didn't have like a phase that I went through. It's a very consistent, ongoing struggle that I have till now. Don't really share it with a lot of people because it's a personal problem and I don't feel like sharing about it a lot. But I think it started sometime around end of middle school. That's when you like hit puberty, right? And you like kind of become self-aware, and you care about how people like, you know, like that's when you start getting acne, and like you care about how you look, and like you do your hair once in a while. And like I think once you hit puberty, you kind of just care about how people think about you. Or that was at least for me. Like that's when I became like, up until middle school I didn't care. Like I would do whatever I want, eat whatever I want.
Orange with everything.
Right, yeah. Like literally I didn't care. As long as I was chilling, I was happy. And I think around middle school, when you hit puberty, or at least for me, it's like I became so concerned about how people viewed me. And not only like physically and like appearance wise, but also like my personality, like how smart I am, how good I am at sports, or how talented I am in music. Like all those aspects, I just became super self-aware. I think that's also came from me having a really, really younger brother, like 7 years young. It's like you're so much older that they almost look up to you as like another parent. So you really want to be a role model. So I think that kind of putting up a show almost kind of stemmed from that as well. But I became really self-aware with my physical image around middle school, because after middle school, and that's the time when I was moving back to Korea, we moved to like a smaller apartment because we shipped out everything. So we didn't have a lot of stuff left, but I had to finish school before summer break. So we needed to be in like a smaller house for a bit. And my mom couldn't cook because we didn't have like stuff, and there wasn't really a big kitchen. So we would always take out Papa John's, because there was like a Papa John's right across the street. And also that summer was the World Cup. So there was like huge deals for pizza and stuff. So you get the one plus one large pizza. I would eat pizza for like 2 months every day. Like I would eat pizza for dinner, like order it, take it to school, frozen pizza for lunch, and then order another pizza that night. And like it would cycle. And man, dude, I grew so fat. Like if I look back now, I was so fat. And none of my clothes fit after that phase. And something I'm pretty embarrassed about still is like I have stretch marks on my stomach still from like the wrinkles, like being fat. Like it will. I've tried so hard. It doesn't go away. Like I have permanent.
There's like cream for that.
Okay, you know, I don't want to put a cream, but there's like I have like wrinkles on my stomach, and I can't get rid of it. But it's like it always reminds me of like that time. But I was really fat, at least to my standards. And then going into high school, my parents were like, "You got to do some kind of sport, right? Because you know, parents want you to be part of extracurricular." And the only thing they offered that I knew how to do was swimming. And you know, if you want to swim, you kind of have to be fit. Like other sports, you can get by if you have good cardio, if you're pretty strong. Like depending on the sport, obviously being fit would help. But swimming, you really got to be fit because you're underwater and you got to breathe. So I was like, okay, I'll try swimming. And then I started swimming, and a lot of my peers or like a lot of my classmates would also swim, or they were swimmers as well, or at least my the swimmers that were my age. And I would look at them, and they would be skinny. They would be swimming like since they were young. Really good form, really good body for swimming, and really, I guess, toned. And I like looked at that, and there was a turning point for me where I was like, dang, I need to look like that in order for me to be good at swimming. So I signed up for early morning swimming. So that would be 5:30 to 7. I would swim for an hour and a half before class, go to class. After school, we would have 2 hour practice, 3 to 5. And then I would do extracurricular swimming at night, like at my own pool. So I was swimming a lot throughout the week. And plus, on top of that, I would diet. So I would barely eat, try to only drink water up until lunch, eat a really light lunch because we have practice at 3, so I don't want to have food in my stomach while I'm swimming. And then afterwards, I would eat a pretty big dinner because I'm really hungry, but then that's it. And I lost like, I don't know what kgs are in pounds, but I lost 10 kilograms in like a month of doing that. And I was so proud of myself because I went down 2 sizes in all my clothing. So I had to like throw away all my pants and like buy new pants, buy new jackets and shirts and stuff, or sweaters, because my body like shrunk, or like I lost all the fat that I had. Literally,
you lost about 22 pounds.
I literally shredded a lot. My parents were like, "Oh, it looks good on you," because you know, I had no fat. But for me, I was never satisfied. For me, in my head, I was still chunky, like a big fat person compared to, because I equated being fat with my swimming skills. And just because I didn't swim growing up, I was naturally not as good of a swimmer because I didn't have the best form or best technique at the time. So I equated my skill of swimming with my weight. So if I felt like I was falling behind in practice, it wasn't because, oh, my form's bad, or it's because I just didn't swim as much as they did, but it's because I was fat. So I would try to lose more weight and more weight. And it got to a point where I didn't like the feeling of being full in my stomach. You know, like that feeling where it's like you're kind of hungry, But if you like stay hungry for long enough, you kind of get full again.
Yeah.
You know that feeling? I got addicted to that feeling of like
Oh, yeah.
going through that phase of being really hungry, but waiting long enough that you feel full again. But it was okay because when I was in high school, I would swim and I would have to eat because I needed the energy. So I had a pretty okay diet then. But once I stopped swimming, my metabolism wasn't as fast enough. I wasn't burning as many calories. So I would have the same eating habits. So freshman year, I wouldn't say it was up to freshman 15, but definitely close to like 10 or 11. I gained a lot of weight because I would have the same eating habits, but I wouldn't swim as much or exercise as much. So I got really concerned because I'm a huge weight watcher. Like I look at the scale number a lot. So if that number starts going up, I get stressed out for no reason. And after freshman year, or during freshman year, I would gain a lot of weight. So I would always try to balance that with working out. But I never did anything to my diet at all. I would try to counterbalance my eating habits with working out. And then sophomore year, I did an okay job because I moved out of dorms, so I wouldn't be eating at like dining courts, and I'll eat at home. But I still would eat a lot. And I remember my parents telling me like, yeah, you're kind of gaining a lot of weight. And I would start to like not fit in my clothes again. Like my pants were too tight for the most part, so I had to buy new pants every time. And then I went to the military, and I think at the military is where I struggled the most, and that's where I kind of developed a disorder, I would consider. Not really. In the military, you're fed, so you can't control how much you eat, but there is a convenience store where you can buy snacks and like things you like, frozen food. You can use a microwave and ramen and stuff. So a lot of people use that for like occasional snacks and stuff. For me, I'll like try and starve myself throughout the week, and then I would binge on one day. So trying to starve myself and then binging, I realized was not a good habit, because throughout the week I would not eat, and then on one day I would eat like 4,000 plus calories. And that habit hasn't really fallen out yet right now. Like I'm still kind of going through that, but yeah, I've always been a body image, always been concerned about the weight scale, like the number, not so much of the shape of my body or whatnot, but very insecure about my weight and how that affected how I looked. And I think up until now I'm still doing it, but
But I'm sorry.
What?
Why did you fall asleep?
exposed. I get it. I'm boring.
Wait, I didn't even know I fell asleep.
You fell asleep. I was staring at you for like 10 seconds. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Oh, man.
I'm like, it's pretty quiet.
I know, I'm like listening to Joe, and then I turned to my right, and Suzie just knocked out.
She's like,
Wait, did you ask me a question?
No, but I just
okay.
I was like staring at you for always. Anyways, thank you, Joe.
Sorry, Joseph, I was listening.
yeah, it's okay. You can sleep.
You were
It's
asleep.
all right.
No,
It's all right.
I was just resting my eyes.
Okay, that's what everyone says.
I was praying for Joseph.
Deep in prayer.
Oh, deep in prayer.
Deep in prayer.
Oh, man.
I get it.
Interesting.
My life's boring. I get
Wait,
it.
I have a question for Joseph, actually. Don't worry, I was listening.
Okay.
Trevor, deeper self.
Do you still weight watch, you think?
I can't say no, because I do. I mean, you guys been to my bathroom. There's a scale in there.
Yeah, whenever I said, hey, can I use the restroom? He quickly removed them. I was like, oh, I saw that.
Yeah, it's in
sure.
there for a reason. I'm really, I'm really attached to the number.
You need to throw that away.
I
when it was in my bathroom, I think I used it like once.
I
Yeah,
don't use the scale. That stresses me out.
like I justify it by saying I need it just so I know how my current condition is, because weight could creep up on you. Like you wouldn't notice until it's like kind of too late. You know what I mean? But for me, I'm really.
But why do you have to know? Like, why do you have to know the numbers if it doesn't even show?
Because I get so satisfied when the number goes low.
Joseph, that's toxic. Like,
It's not that simple, Suzie.
I know it is. I know it is toxic.
If you're depressed, just stop being depressed. Like,
I know it is
Stop
toxic.
it. Throw it
But,
away. I'm taking the scale with me.
but I
nasty
really,
sometimes.
I really hate myself for doing it. But I like always weigh myself in the morning at night just to make sure, like.
but that that's such a.
I know in the back. I know in the back of my head, it's not reflective of
Yeah.
like my true body, like.
Because there's water
image.
weight.
Yeah, because I've been doing it for such a long time. I know I'm naturally lighter in the morning and heavier at night, so I'm not concerned about like that amount of fluctuation. But then I'll be like plus or minus uncertainty, like.
Sorry, I can't believe I fell asleep.
No, because I'm saying I'm hot as hell in the morning. And then at night, not so much.
That's true. Like, you look at yourself in the mirror
Yeah.
and then stomach's so flat, and then after you drink water, it's like, what's going
it
on?
It inflated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very insecure about my weight and how that makes me look, and it's not a healthy habit.
Yeah. Okay, I got scared. I thought it was like over.
So insulting.
You thought it was over?
I was like, wait, did I just
Alright,
the whole thing?
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
You think it would have just like not
I don't
woken you
know.
up at all?
Or like, I thought you guys asked me a question because I opened my eyes and both of you guys are looking at me. So I was like, wait.
It's like I signaled to him.
Because no, I know, like, this is my natural view, so I'm looking at Matt
Yeah,
the whole
that's
time.
why I go.
And then I
like
see
this.
Matt like occasionally glancing at Suzie, and I just like look over. I'm like, oh, all right. So I guess my voice is very
it's awkward
boring.
because everybody when they talk looks at me.
Oh,
Right, you
yeah.
look at me, Suzie looks at me, Joe's
Yeah.
look at me,
'Cause
but then
I'm-
when I talk,
if I do this, I can't. Like,
Yeah.
this is an awkward angle.
like when
It's the
I
mic
talk,
stand, too.
I have to like look at both of you at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But
It's the mic
Both.
direction.
anyways,
honestly.
yeah, both. Shut up.
Both.
Okay, both. Anyways, so I guess I'll talk about my insecurities.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we talked about. Thanks, Joe. So.
Time to
So,
sleep.
I think we talked about like body image.
Yeah.
So body image, I never struggled with, and I know that kind of sounds bad, but like I
Okay.
never like cared enough. So I think
Yeah.
I've been very blessed. I have like this is not really body, but I have straight teeth.
Right.
I never had acne.
Mm.
I never had any skin problems like eczema or anything like that. Like I never dealt with anything. I think actually the biggest I got was in high school, and I reached 205, which is really fast. So think about 5'8", like 5'8", 5'9", 205.
Was that a lot?
That's a
What's
lot.
a kilo in that?
One second.
Sorry, I don't.
I'm having struggle.
Yeah,
I'm like, for reference, I'm like 77 right. That's like 165, 170.
So was it 205 pounds?
205 pounds, 2
Sorry,
kilos.
I don't. In Korea, we don't use.
Yeah,
pounds.
I don't know pounds. 92, 93.
93.
Yeah,
oh.
That's insane.
So what do you?
Yeah, I've never reached 93.
So I reached
That's
205, right? But the thing is, when I would tell people I reached 205, no one believed me. They're like, no, Matt, you're 160. You're 170. Because I think, like, my body, like, when I gain a lot of weight, it doesn't show that much. Because
Did
it's
you say
just,
it's like all here?
it's
can
more
cover it?
here. It's more here. Like, belly. It's more like belly and, like, butt area, right?
Okay.
That's where my weight goes. So, like, it's easy to hide because you can, like, suck it in or, like, you can, like, wear baggy clothes. So it's actually not that
yeah.
hard to, like, so, like, because my shoulders would look the same as it does now, but I would be 205, right? So I never struggled with body image because no one made fun of my body. They made fun of my face.
Your looks.
Why'd you
I'm
laugh?
not laughing.
So
Well, we all know too well.
my face, so obviously, like, I'm a little bit chubbier than most people. I don't have, like, clear cut, like, chiseled
Yeah,
Jawline.
jawline or anything.
We can
No
tell you.
jawline. It's like,
You're
I never, like, it used to be worse back then. I used to be 205, right? So, like, my face would be a little bit bigger than it is now because obviously I weighed more. But then, like, I was not chiseled face. I'm more chubby. I have small eyes. Like, you know, like that stuff. Like, I don't have like a great looking face according to like what people thought back then. I know looks is all subjective, so
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
But back then, a lot of people made fun of me for that. They would always compare me to all the Asian guys in school and like tell me why they're better looking than me based on my face. So actually, in high school, I think I told a lot of people I was known as the guy that would get a girlfriend because he was funny and had a good personality, but never because I was good looking. The girl would have to look past that I'm ugly and then like me for my personality.
And it's changed now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Shots fired.
I'm kidding.
But you're like, oh, you woke up and you're just a menace.
Wow.
Woke up, but you know what I mean? Like, so that's what people would say. And like back then, me and Suzie talked about this back then, but I was a huge people pleaser, and I would believe everything people would tell me. So if people told me I was ugly, I was stupid, I had too small eyes, I had a big face, whatever, right? I would believe them 100%. So my insecurity was like that my face. I just hated my face so much, and like I remember that was like, yeah, that was the biggest thing. It's funny because people ask me, but like, you had no acne, your teeth are straight, whatever. But like I think people always made fun of like my cheeks and then my eyes and then like, you know, the fact that it wasn't like a D or hot looking.
Oh no.
It wasn't chiseled.
It wasn't chiseled
Chiseled,
or whatever,
there
right?
you
Yeah,
go.
well, that's the
Don't
word.
say
That's the word.
sexy.
But like, but you know what I mean? That was my insecurity, and like a lot of even like my girlfriend at the time or like people close to me, they would be like, "Oh yeah, Matt, you're not good looking. Like you definitely have a better personality than me." And that to me hurt because like I didn't care about personality at the time. All I cared about was my looks, face wise. But I remember between my junior and senior year, I reached 205. And then my dad told me, Matt, if you lose like 20 pounds, you'll be really good at sports. And because I don't care how my body looks to like girls or whoever, I don't care. I was like, oh, really? So I was like, okay, I'm going to work out and then I'll be better. I can play better at lacrosse or whatever, right? Hockey or something like that. So I remember that whole summer, I cut out all snacks. I cut out all sugar drinks. I only drank milk. Well, I couldn't drink milk by then, but it was like I only drank water and like sparkling water. And then I cut out all snacks, only fruit. I only ate only fruit. And I remember I would also run 3 miles every day. On the treadmill. I would run 3 miles at like a very at a slow pace, but still 3 miles. I would wait till it reaches 3 miles, then I'll stop. I did that every day. I did it 6 times a week. And I ate also 3 portions every meal though. I ate 3 portions at lunch, 3 portions at dinner, and then repeat the cycle. I lost 35 pounds that summer. So I dropped down all the way to 170. I went down to 170. I dropped down to 170. And that was the lightest I was, but I was the most athletic. But I was so happy, right? But the thing is, like, if someone asked me, no one said, oh man, you look like you lost weight. I didn't look much, but they did see it because my face got slimmer. Because like I lost like the bottom, like the cheek chin fat. I lost that, and people were like, "Oh man, you actually look somewhat decent." I remember that's what people would say. But my biggest insecurity was my face, and it still is. Because I think a lot of people because I think when I first came to Cornerstone, the running joke was I looked like Snorlax, and that was the exact insecurity that I dealt with all of high school. My eyes. So that hurt, but at the time, everybody laughed so much. I didn't know what to do.
You didn't want to be the party
I didn't want to be the party pooper, so I just let people keep saying that I have small eyes and like big face or whatever like that. But but that was like that was my biggest insecurity at the time. Yeah, and Suzie made a video about that, but it's okay.
So you feel bad now, huh?
Because but the thing is, it was something that I kind of accepted, and in a way it was bad, but also it kind of just made me whatever, right? It's not like you guys said I had small eyes and it was like a bad thing. It was like, oh, it's just something we can poke fun at Matt, and then because we like Matt, right? But like, okay, but you know what I mean? Like it was kind of like that. So yeah, that was probably the biggest insecurity back then and now. Another insecurity I'll answer because I can just explain it real quick was I don't speak Korean. That to me is probably the biggest I had back then and now. I think I'm very, very embarrassed that I can't speak Korean. So that's something that I would want to fix, but obviously it's like not so simple. But I think those two are probably my biggest insecurities.
Interesting. Well, like, have you been like, would you say like, is it better or like worse?
I think like my Korean in terms of like understanding is better. I can't speak at all. I think speaking is a completely different animal. But I think overall like it's getting better because I'm like putting more effort in like watching things or like listening to things in Korean. Like rather than just listening to things in English. I want my mom to start up my Netflix again so I can watch Korean dramas. But I think in terms of like my looks, it's a on and off thing. I think like Suzie mentioned, like there's some days where it's like it's good, some days it's bad. There's days where like I know a lot of people like comment about my looks. It happened a lot in college. People would come up to me and say some things about my looks and everything, or make fun of something. So I think that was like tough. Because like I think even now like it kind of ties, but like there's a Korean beauty standard.
Oh yeah.
And of like BTS and like all these people, right? And I just simply do not fit that beauty standard. Yeah. So I think for them they're like, okay, well he's an ugly Korean. Let me go find the good-looking Koreans, right? And like I'll be honest, like proportion-wise, Sungjae is a very good-looking Korean, right? Joseph Kim, very good-looking Korean, right? And I think it's because my face is not that way.
Very good-looking.
No, I don't want to lie on.
Oh, okay.
Boom, roasted.
I'm going back to sleep.
I'm joking. But you know what I mean? Like since I didn't, I'm just talking about guys. I'm not talking about girls. It was like so like Joseph Kim, Sungjae, they fit like that, like good-looking Korean. But because my face was a little bit bigger, I didn't fit that. So. And a lot of people like telling me all the time that I don't fit that. So I think eventually, like, I'm the type of person where like, if someone keeps making a joke that I'm stupid, I start believing that I'm stupid. If someone keeps making a joke that I'm ugly, I really start to believe that I'm ugly. So like I know like a lot of times like we like to poke fun at people, but sometimes like even me, I know when to stop because I don't want that person to like
you've experienced it.
literally think that like you're stupid. Well, you're not stupid. We're just saying we're stupid as a joke, but I want to like, hey guys, let's stop joking because as an insecurity of mine, I know that when you keep hearing it, you start to believe it's your reality. So yeah, that's probably my insecurity. It's getting better because I think I'm realizing that looks is so subjective. Like it's
we'll all be ugly when we get old anyway.
yeah, and like just because someone thinks
so
just because someone thinks Susie's ugly and someone thinks Susie's hot, who's right?
The hot.
No.
For sure.
I don't know about that. I will say though, for the Korean beauty standard, and that's something I told Suzie about. It doesn't help with, let's say if you're Korean, the Korean beauty standard is very feminine, right? Thin legs, tall or long legs.
Though.
It is changing, but you got like skin complexion is basically a girl. Like you got really nice skin, really toned face, really long legs, skinny body frame. Like that's a general like K-pop guy's like image, right? And I noticed when I lived in Korea, like I didn't really care about my body per se as my weight going into Korea. But in Korea, when I was living in Korea, I could tell like my fashion sense would change, and then I would look at my body, like my body doesn't fit like this fashion, right? Like skinny jeans, like button down shirts, or like nice permed hair. Like I wouldn't look good with that. And the longer I lived in Korea, the more I would, because I was already watching my weight so much and like how much that changed my look as my body. I would like be so concerned about my proportions too, right? So like I don't have long legs. I don't have like the perfect ratio or whatever compared to like a Korean beauty standard, and that would get to me. Like I know I might have like a decent body because I swam. My legs and my calves, and like my calves are really thick, and that is probably the biggest insecurity I have about my like physical body, because I notice it when I shop for pants in Korea. The Korean size or like the Korean tailored pants is usually like skinnier around the calf area, and it doesn't fit. Like it'll be loose around the knees and like the thighs, but my calves like bulge out from the pants, and it doesn't look good. Or like I'll have to like when I pull down my pants, like I'll have to pull down all the way to my knees and then like pull it down a separate time around my calf just so I can take it off. And I didn't think it was a big deal, but my mom, I'm not like saying my mom roasted me or anything, but she kind of pointed out, she's like, oh, you do have like thicker calves, and she's like always wanting me to feel good about myself. She's like, oh, there's like procedures for that, or like there's surgery for that, or you can do acupuncture for that. And like there's so many solutions in Korea. Like plastic surgery is a thing, facial like refixing is a thing, skincare is a thing. Like you have all this PT and like Pilates stuff to like restructure your body and like all that. And like being surrounded by that, I'm like 99% of myself is like I'm probably never gonna do that, but 1% of me does consider is like I could improve my physical image if I like pay a little money, And my mom has like been like, oh, we could get you the double eyelid, or we could do the whole acupuncture, like draw bloods, like you like slim down here and there. And I mean, it sounds crazy, even like the Botox thing, right? Like skin, like we're all young now, so we don't really care about skin, but like when you grow older, right, when you start getting those first wrinkles in, so we can do Botox to like straighten that out, or like we could do hair perms to like make hair better. And it's like it's such a normalized thing there. Like for here, it sounds crazy because it's not as an available service. It's like people who do that here is like, bro, you're crazy, or like you must be going through something.
Hollywood.
But in Korea, it's like a normal thing. Like people graduate, their graduation gifts like a double eyelid. It's a normal. My cousins did it.
That's really that's interesting.
I mean,
all my friends.
I'm not gonna lie. Like and for those of you who knew me before, I got my eye surgery. Like I had glasses for a really long time since 4th grade, and I never noticed, but I do have small eyes when I take off my glasses, and like I'll have to squint through my glasses. That's why I'm so used to like just looking at a smaller frame, and I'll always be squinting, so I'll have like smaller eyes when I take off my glasses. And when I got my eye surgery done, like the first week looking around, my parents would kind of like be like, yeah, you got kind of like small eyes, like you always look like you're squinting, because that's like my natural resting eye position, right? Even though I don't have glasses, I act like I do. And like now it's like loosened up a bit, like the muscles around it don't tense up when I look. But definitely the whole surgery thing to improve your look is like such a Korean culture thing, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help with your insecurities because everyone's pointing it out.
With that too, K-pop, that item is like 1% of Korea.
Yeah, exactly.
Like most people in Korea look like me.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. Like
they're normal.
Yikes.
What?
Okay, so
like I think, but like that's like a hard thing to think about, right? Because you want it like, because I want to look like BTS people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
dude,
I want to
like-
look like them, but it's like not my reality, and I think it took me a while to accept that like this is who God made me, and like just roll with it, right?
Facts.
Like God is fair, right? Like what if like RM is like really stupid?
He's really smart actually. He learned English just by watching
We
Friends.
get it, Suzie.
So don't
He's
say
perfect.
that ever again about RM.
We get it.
Because RM is my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love RM.
I
I love RM.
don't even follow BTS.
That's just
I listen to them.
I heard he has a really high IQ. RM.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard he has a super
Probably.
IQ. Yeah, but like,
Really?
He's
Yeah.
a genius.
Yeah.
And he's good looking. And he writes all the songs.
But he doesn't know you.
He does. I think.
You wish.
I saw him. I saw
You
him.
wish.
I was
he's
waving at him.
definitely not like
He does
Suyeon.
not. He does not know you.
Interesting. But I guess like now we can kind of transition if we want to.
We could.
You're awake, Susie? No.
I don't think so.
Are
you-
I'm so
are you-
tired.
are you-
After this recording, I'm definitely gonna have to sleep here for like 20 minutes before I get the whole world.
But I think like another thing we could talk about is like maybe insecurities we're dealing with now.
Now.
But I think we kind of overlap.
I mean, it's something you grow up with. Never really goes away. I think.
Yeah. I think for me, oh actually I talked too much.
No, go ahead.
Me? Okay, I haven't talked in a while. Okay.
And stay awake.
Yeah. I think something I go through now is like not like a
What?
You gotta
Spit it out,
speak.
woman.
not a specific insecurity, but I care so much or a lot more than I used to about what other people think about me. Like not just my body image, just but like anything. And I feel like people are constantly like judging me on like what I do or like how I talk or like who I hang out with or just I feel constantly judged. So I feel like I guess that's like my quote unquote insecurity is just like caring too much about what other people have to say about me. But that's like I mean that's like also like normal too, right? That's not crazy. And
You should care, but it could get to you sometimes.
yeah, and I definitely well, I don't know if it should care or not. If you're confident in what you're doing, like I don't think what other people think shouldn't matter as much.
It depends on the people who are saying it too.
Oh, that's true.
Because like I'm sure if a close friend is saying bad things about you to you, you know, saying like, "Hey, you should fix this," then obviously you should take that. But if
True.
they're just like people you know and they're just talking
They're
crap,
just hating.
Yeah.
Block out the haters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing. But I also even that like after the whole eating disorder thing, I like a lot. That's gotten a lot better too. Of me just not really caring about what other people have to say and just caring about myself.
I do want to say something though. When you were going through that, like I've been taught as a kid from my parents never to call anyone fat,
Yeah.
especially girls.
Yeah.
So when I was shocked, I was so shocked by like the jokes pointed at you from people that like people were saying that you were like fat, overweight, obese, or whatever. Right? I couldn't believe that that's what they're saying because I felt like it's such like a be a normal person 101. You don't call people fat in general because you don't know because like body image is such a big thing, right? Like so I was so shocked that people were doing that to you. I couldn't believe it. So because you know we never say that, right? Like even as a joke, me and Joe never say it because it's like
I've said it before.
oh yeah,
Excuse me.
Joseph said it before, but I don't ever say it, right? Because like to me it's like
I remember what Joseph said.
oh please share.
Oh no.
I sent like this emoji thing on iMessage to Joseph and Matt, and it was like a whale. Remember that? And then Joseph was like, "Oh, is that your self-portrait?"
Wait, to be fair though, I thought we were like joking around, or like our relationship is at a point where we could probably joke around.
Yeah, well, I wasn't
Like
offended.
regardless if you're like fat or skinny.
We're not saying that. It was
I
bad.
know,
It
I
was
know.
just
Sorry,
like-
Joseph.
I know.
That didn't trigger anything.
I just remembered.
But
She just blocks you tonight.
But Matt, what you said, I think is because I give off like that vibe that like, oh, she can take jokes.
No, me too.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're feeling.
Okay, well, don't. This is my time.
Okay, sorry.
My time.
So like, I feel like people just like think I don't get hurt or something, and I feel like I am like pretty thick-skinned. Like I would not take everything serious, but those kind of jokes can get to you. Or even at that moment, I'll just laugh along with them. But at night or something, when I think about it, I'm like, oh, I don't like that, you know?
I think everyone goes through that.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it really gets to you sometimes.
I think I still go through it in a way because a lot of people comment about things about me, like either what's my looks or like maybe my major too. I think that's a big thing where like a lot of people make jokes about it, but I think it does get to me more often than I think people think. because they're thinking, oh, Matt's like such a go happy, go with the flow type of person. Like, he'll take it. It's fine. He doesn't take it seriously.
He's like
but
easy to poke around.
Easy to poke around, but I think at times like it is difficult because when I go home and I'm by myself, I think about a lot of it. Yeah. Because if you think about it for that whole 2 hours, 3 hours, a good chunk of it was me just listening to these jokes.
Right.
And at the time, I just filter it out as, oh, whatever, we're just playing fun. Then I make a joke to them or whatever, right? So things happen. But then when you go home, you think about it. It's it's a natural thing. You're just kind of am I really that dumb or whatever they were joking about, right? Because you hear that phrase every joke has a little bit of truth.
There is
a little bit of truth, right? So it's sometimes very hard to deal with.
Yeah.
I do sympathize with Suzie a lot because I think it's something that sticks to you more than because you never remember the good stuff people say. I don't remember anything good that people say to me. If they say, "Hey, man, thanks for the retreat," I'll be honest, I forget about it more easy. But I do remember when people comment "Hey, I think you did something really bad during this retreat." I remember that more. So
it sticks with you longer.
It sticks with you way longer. I do agree.
On top of that, I think when you mention major, I think for me it's the opposite because when I'm studying mechanical engineering, so when I mention that to someone, there's a positive connotation to the level of I guess intellect you need to do that major, but that gives you pressure, right? And that is something I'm insecure as. If I don't meet those expectations, or if I'm in the class and I'm listening to these things and my friend next to me is writing down these notes and doing homework and he has no problem comprehending it and it just kind of goes smoothly, I feel like I should be able to process it as fast as that person. And I always tell myself there's always going to be someone smarter than you. You're never going to be the top of the class, or people just learn in different ways and different speeds, and they learn differently, and you don't have to be the one to always know everything at the same time. But when you especially when you're around adults, or when I'm meeting someone for the first time and I mention that I'm a mechanical engineer, and then they're like, oh, look at this person, he's smart, and then they'll reference it throughout conversation, or oh, he gets it because he's smart. I get it, it's funny. I mean, there might be some truth to it, but at the same time that puts a huge expectation or burden, and that sometimes makes you very insecure, because what if you're not as smart as they expect you to be? Then that's a disappointment almost. Oh, I expected you to get this, but if you don't know how to do this, then I guess you're not really that smart. And that's the opposite effect, and it gets to me.
I think I'd rather have that though. Because I think for me, so I'm a liberal arts major, and I think, and obviously you guys know liberal arts stereotypically is not considered as difficult or have to have the same pedigree as a STEM major, so mechanical, whatever.
Right.
I think for me, I struggle the most people kind of commenting about oh, Matt, college must be a breeze. Oh, you must have nothing to do all day. Or oh, your classes, your tests must be so simple. But I think it's simply not true.
Yeah.
Maybe it's easy for you, but it's not easy for me, right? Because I'm not at the same level as everybody, right? I'm not able to process things as easy as maybe an engineer, for example, or a CS major. I can't do that.
Right.
So while my work might seem easy to you, well, first of all, it's not that easy in general. I don't think. I think it's a lot of work, and it's not just simple to just give presentations every day, right? That's not just whatever, and doing it well too to get the A. You can get a B or C in a presentation and just kind of just do it, but to get an A requires an extra effort that I want to achieve. Right. So I put in extra effort, and also I'm doing a business minor, so I'm not just doing communications and just graduating. I pushed myself in certain ways.
Right.
But I think throughout, I was always seen as the person in the friend group, lowest GPA, right, lowest IQ, most likely to ask for money later for help, most likely not to make a lot of money out of college. We'll have to work harder than everybody else, right? And I think when you hear that, just simply based off of there's no proof, it's just my major. We are not in that stage of life yet to know that for sure. But people are always just you're going to be this way because a liberal arts major, there's no way a liberal arts major can ever encompass what a STEM major or a STEM major does.
Right.
But simply that's if you go into the workforce, that's not true. And I think my internship helped a lot with that. Kind of realizing no, you can do advertisement, you can do communication jobs,
There's so much variety,
and make a ton of money because every company needs it, and you can keep going up the ranks, and you can do projects and everything and make a ton of money, right? There's other ways to make money in this world rather than just coding or robotics or whatever. Not saying that you won't make money, you'll make a ton of money doing that, but I think for me it's been frustrating to hear all the time oh yeah, Matt won't understand this, or Matt's not going to get this because he's a liberal arts major, right? like, oh, is everybody ready to help Matt once we get out of college? Because he's obviously not gonna have enough money to do anything, right? But it's like, it's like that to me is like that's a pride thing, and also like it's just hard to hear because I'm not stupid. I'm not, I don't think I'm stupid, but
it gets to you.
But it gets to you, yeah, for sure.
The thing is, for me though, like it's not unheard of for like someone who does liberal arts or someone who's not as a popular major and doing well for themselves, like. And I think everyone understands that it's a path everyone takes, especially in terms of STEM versus liberal arts. Like STEM is stereotypically the more bank out of, straight out of college, but liberal arts is a skill that you could take further than engineering per se. But the insecurity I have is like, it's unheard of. It's not unheard of for liberal arts to go high, but you don't hear a lot about like people straight out of a STEM and like not getting a decent job. You know what I mean? Like it's a pretty big expectation, or it's almost a given. It's like you're gonna get a good job once you get out. Yeah. And people are like, yeah, you're fine. You're gonna graduate with the engineering degree, so you'll be fine. You'll get a job. But what if you don't?
Yeah, that's
then
true.
you're a failure.
It's expected for me,
right?
But it's unexpected for you.
Yeah. It's like,
uh-huh.
It's like if you don't, then you're completely a failure. Like, what's the point of you studying engineering?
Yeah,
right?
You work so hard.
Yeah. You had all this opportunity. You had all this, blessings, I guess. But if you don't take it anywhere, it's like, well, that just looks more bad on me than anything. So it's like there's the insecurity of that. It's like not being able to meet the expectations people have. That comes with a higher track, I guess, with like in engineering, like higher expectation, and like I guess straight out of college thing. But that is, I think, an expectation people just have in general, or like insecurity people have in general with school, like wherever you're at with school. Like some people just won't care, and that's good on them. But some people, or most people, will be so concerned about how their performance in school looks on them and how that influences their future. And I think that's another insecurity I think I have, is like insecurity of the future, right? Because, I mean, you guys are about to graduate, so I can't definitely say on how I feel about being a graduate soon, but I definitely do have the insecurity of not knowing what the future holds as someone who's from an international background, but also like someone who likes to have some sort of structure, control, and like being able to know where I'll be next or how things will go, even with like simple things like exams or like classes, is like knowing that I'll be able to have time to finish this homework during this time for next week or something. And if it doesn't work out, then I kind of stress out, and that sometimes is insecure because I feel like I'm not prepared or something like that. And definitely off of retreat, or something I learned from retreat, is that God is always in control, and those kind of insecurities you kind of just gotta let go. I mean, all insecurities, but especially with worrying about the future and being insecure about that, is something that's not always in your control. And whether or not you believe in God, like, you can't control it, so might as well not worry about it to a certain extent.
What? Wait, I don't think major or like academics has been my insecurity.
That's good for you.
That's great, actually. Yeah. I wish I was like that.
I like know I'm not that smart, and that doesn't bother me because I'm good at working.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
sometimes you gotta accept the fact.
Suzie can work hard. Like, for real. Like, I'm not even saying that as a joke. Like, you work so many jobs, and like over the summer you work. Like,
that's actually admirable. Like, I've never worked a job.
Like,
so
I've never there's not many people that just wants to work and just get it done, right? And you just want to work. Like, every summer you always say, yep, I'm working at wherever, I forgot what the place
Bowling
is called.
Green.
Bowling.
Where's that place called?
Mr. B's.
Yeah,
Mr. B's.
Woo! Like, oh, yeah, I'm working at Mr. B's again, or I'm gonna work at my mom's place. Or I'll do both actually. Yeah. And then actually, when I get back to here, I'll work at I'm just saying places like Red Mango, Kimchi, whatever. I'll work anywhere.
But that's actually all the places.
Oh, really? All of the above.
Yeah, I worked at Red Mango and Kimchi.
I forgot if you did or not. But like
all of the above.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and Susie's just like, I'm gonna work, and like that to me is really cool because at the end of the day, like. Me and Joe aren't making any money, but Susie's making all the money. Right?
Like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this because I made money.
Yeah, like me and Joe go to our parents, but Suzie goes to her bank account that she got the check and she, so it's like, it's admirable. It's admirable.
That's why I've always thought this. I've like seen those like toxic Asian parents, but like there is other ways to make money than just by being smart and being a doctor.
Right,
yeah, for sure.
Preach.
So I'm not really insecure about that. I'm not really worried about my future. I think I'll make it somehow.
Do you guys? I know. This is something we can talk about later, also. But
we're
all also the first child of our family. Like, we all have younger siblings.
Oh, that is true.
Do you guys ever think like your insecurities
Yeah, my brother's
influence
way
like
smarter
your
than me.
relationship with your siblings? Because I know for me sometimes, like I talked about this earlier, like because I have a younger brother, I feel like I have to be perfect or like set a role model that my brother could follow. And if I know it's human to have like flaws and like blemishes here and there, but if I show weakness, he'll like follow that and like be like, oh, this is something I should stress about. Like if he sees me stressing about how I look or how my weight, or he sees me stressing about school, I don't want him to stress about the same thing or be insecure about the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, how do you communicate that with?
It's interesting because I've never been jealous of my brother, or like I never like been insecure about my brother, because my brother is, well, he's taller than me, right? He's smarter than me, and like he's just, I think Adam has
He's
this.
nicer than you too.
He's probably nicer than me, but he has this great like positive aura about him that just like is infectious. People like being around Adam, you know. Not saying that I don't have that, but
I don't
like, Adam's like a great brother. The thing is, for me, for some reason, as an older brother, I always think I'm better than Adam. But the same thing too, I have this very because I grew up playing team sports. I have this very team attitude where if Adam is succeeding, I can think as his older brother, I helped with that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that his success is my success.
That's for sure.
Because if
So
everyone likes
credit.
no, because if everyone likes Adam, then maybe everyone will start like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I never see it as like, oh shoot, I wish I had what Adam had. It's like,
If
no,
it's in
like
the family,
if it's in the family,
it's
then
someone connected to you.
that means that I helped Adam be that way. Because I'll be honest, I was really dumb in high school. I messed up. I fought with my parents almost every single day. I tore up the house. I punched everything. Right, like. I was an angry child back then.
Angsty.
Adam probably saw that and was like, I'm not going to be like Matthew. And I think that helped Adam have a smoother high school experience, and now even a smoother college experience, because he's literally, my parents probably tell him every day, hey, do you remember what Matt did? Don't do what Matt did, right? Like, do you remember what Matthew did? You know, Matthew is fine, but he struggled, right? Do you want to do that? No, right? So actually, Adam has a very, like, not super smooth, but he has a kind of a blueprint or maybe a roadmap to kind of where to go, and he can follow if he wants to, because I did all the stupid stuff. So I'm not jealous of Adam, because I think I helped Adam in a way. So I don't know, I've never been insecure about that.
Well, I'm definitely not jealous of my younger brother, who is like 10 right now. He's just like a baby to me.
Joseph,
he gets all the ladies.
But for Alice, even Alice, like, I don't think I've ever been jealous of Alice. Me and Alice's relationship is like, we're like best friends. So then whenever I was going through things, like what I talked about, her role in my life isn't to like be like, oh no, like, are you okay? It's more like, the fuck?
Yeah.
She literally said, why are you throwing up? And I was like, what? Like, how do I even answer that? But she was like, so like,
get your crap together.
Yeah, and she definitely helped me, because when I went home, she was like, don't pretend like you don't like eating. And then like, she would just like feed me food. And
I like
then,
her.
Yeah,
like
stuff like
Straightforward.
that. Yeah. And then she would just like, I don't know, hit me with the facts, and I don't know. I think, yeah, for sure. She's definitely stronger than me. But I think our relationship in the family, or maybe this can be like another topic, we can talk about like family or whatever.
Sure.
But like, our parents are, they depend on me and Alice a lot. So me and Alice have this like bonding. Like, we're like the parent of Joseph, kind of. So we don't really like have that like
Joseph.
No, not Joseph Kim. No, we didn't have to clarify that. But anyways,
just to be sure, I don't want no confusion.
Yeah, I
Well,
feel
talk to your mom right there. That's Suzie.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm not really insecure, like I'm not jealous of Alice. I think it's, if anything, just like she helps me get out of my insecurity.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think for me too, but my brother's so much more younger. Like, your direct next sibling's like what, 4 or 5 years at least. Like, you know, like for you 3, like 4, right? For me it's 7. Like, I don't have anyone in between. So my direct sibling is, well, okay, that's not 7 years. Like, he's just gotten into high school. Like, he's a freshman.
My brother
And
just got an elementary.
when I was like in middle school or elementary school, I would like do everything for him. Like, I would play with him. I would like make sure he's like, I would shower with him. I would make sure everything's like safe for him, and like I would take care of him like when my parents are away. And then like, I kind of think I sometimes spoiled him, because he now doesn't like. It's like the opposite of Matt. Like, I was such of the role model child growing up that my parents like wish my brother was like me. Like, they would always be like, your brother did this. Like, you should like example. But then he would always like, nah, like I want to do my own thing. He's like kind of going through his rebel phase right now. Like he fights a lot with my parents, especially my mom, because he's like my dad's at work, so my mom would be with him and he would always fight. They wouldn't always be on good terms, and my parents would always rely on me to be like the one to like mediate, because my brother's chill with me, but it's my parents, right? Because he's always had the direct relationship with me and me setting up everything for him. And then at the same time, he looks at me as if I'm like perfect, right? I have like no insecurities, no like blemish, whatever. And then when he looks at my parents, he's like, all they do is like discipline me, like they're out for me. You know?
You shouldn't watch this podcast.
I don't think he does. I mean, if you're out there, what's up, bro? But like, yeah, just the dynamic is like sometimes I feel like I shouldn't have spoiled him that much.
Well, I think my sister, I definitely told her, I was like, yeah, definitely don't follow my footsteps, because I'm pretty sure she's smarter than me, and she knows that, and like what we want to do in the future is so different, so like it's not like she's gonna like follow my path. So I think I
told my brother, like, don't be like me, or like learn from my mistakes, because it actually would make me feel worse if I went through all this struggle because I made bad mistakes. Right. And you do the same thing.
It's hard to watch too.
It's hard to watch because like of course like I care about my brother so much. If he goes through the same crap I did, him even knowing that he shouldn't do the stuff I did, I think that would hurt me a lot more.
Right.
So I always told him like, hey, like focus on these things more, because you're just gonna find it a lot easier when you get my age or something like that. So
gotcha.
Like I think for him, he took that. Like he didn't do it completely the opposite of what I did, but he went a different direction, and that's why I think when he applied for colleges, Adam had a very smooth time. I was stressed out of my mind.
Dude, he's thriving.
And then Purdue accepted me last minute, and that's why I'm here.
Right.
Right. And why was I that? Because I didn't care about grades during high school. So because I didn't do that, I told Adam the whole time, you better focus on your grades. I know, right? They want to have fun and everything. It's hard, but like focus on it. And he had such a better time. So it's kind of like that. So I don't know. Like I don't have insecurity about that. It's just
yeah. But for me, I don't tell my brother to not be like me, because we're just different people, and he's so far away. Like if he was like maybe applying for college now, then I could be more relatable to him. There's also like a mini generation gap between me and my brother that I can't be like, don't be like me, because he's not going to go through the same thing as me. Like he's already been through different things, and like he's also a big book person. Like he's more liberal arts. I mean, he does like science and math, but he's probably not going to do engineering, so I can't advise him on the track that I took. I can't be like, here's my path, if you want you can follow it, because he's not going to follow it. So I just have to be out for him, like advise what he's going through. But yeah, sometimes I feel like insecurities is just like it bleeds into the family. So
I have a funny story, because some people in Cornerstone come up to me and they're like, oh yeah, Joseph Kim's my role model, and the first thing I say is, that's a horrible role model.
Bro, you should not follow me.
I'm like, why the heck is he your role model?
If you know me, man.
Like not your dad or like your grandfather or like maybe like a celebrity, but they're like Joseph. I'm not saying them. It's like oh yeah, Joseph Kim's my role. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Hey, if you're out there, I'm a terrible role model.
Wait, did anyone say my name?
You would think so, but no.
No one said near you.
If you want to follow my path, I'll
follow her on Twitch, maybe, but not her life.
Follow her path. There's a kimchi. Just sign the application.
That's true.
Job signing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What?
How long have we talked for?
We talked for a pretty long time. I mean,
I'm so...
Let's wrap up just for Suzie's case. I think we talked about. Do you have anything you want to say or no?
That's a no. I think to end then, because it is pretty long. We could answer a short question.
We should do the nickname one.
The nickname one. All right. To end the podcast, we're going to answer one simple question. What was a nickname that you had growing up? And maybe give a little backstory to how you got that nickname.
I don't want to say mine. Mine's embarrassing.
No, you're the one who suggested, so I think you should go first.
You should make this question.
You're the one who made the question.
I didn't want to talk about yours, Matt. Matt's was, let's talk about what we hate about each other. Like, what is that?
We can do both.
That's funny.
Hey, how about this? We give each other's nickname right now, like new nicknames.
Can we talk about nicknames and then we'll talk about new nicknames?
Okay. What was your nickname growing up then?
Mine was Sukunk. Because I farted so much.
What?
I actually...
What?
Skunk?
Like
Sukunk. Like Suzie. Suzie is skunk. Man.
Oh my god.
Bro, I thought you said something completely different.
Oh, what?
Oh, no.
What?
I know exactly what you thought of.
Oh,
What do you
no.
think it was?
It's okay. You don't need to worry about it.
That's not what people called me in elementary school, Joseph.
Oh, elementary school.
That would have been so bad.
Well, you could have said elementary school
Wait,
first.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Sue
Can I
Collins.
switch my...
But yeah, that was my nickname. What about you guys?
Why? Why were you called that?
No,
Because I farted a lot.
Oh, I didn't hear. Sorry, I was
Oh,
laughing.
you
too
were
hard.
you already started laughing before I started explaining it.
You farted too much. Okay.
Yeah, and then my name is Suzie, so then like Sue.
Is it really Suzie?
Oh, it's Suyeon actually.
For me,
Mhm.
it's just Bae.
Oh,
Legit, I didn't have a funny one.
boring.
Everyone just called me
Good
Bae.
old Bae.
But I do a funny story. I tell people a lot. People thought I was gay.
Ah.
Because all these dudes would come to be like, yo, what's up, Bae? You know, Bae back then
Ah.
meant like your significant other, or like before anyone else.
Yeah,
So everyone
you?
thought I was gay. What do you think?
Not sure.
No, but like,
Questionable.
so everyone thought I was gay. But then most people call me Bae or Bae.
That's.
Oh,
we
that-
will not
that's
be
just-
calling you
That's
that.
just cringe.
Well, we will
I'm
not
sorry.
be calling you Bebe, so sorry about that. Sorry, guys, if you had to hear that. All right, Joseph.
I think for me,
Godspeed.
oh,
Oh, God,
well,
that is the most- that is
Godspeed
the
was like
worst.
my swimming name. Elementary school, I was called Joey.
What? That's not a nickname.
Wait,
That's just
I
a
think
name.
I can never call him JoJo. Like,
Oh, I
Ah,
can't.
Jojo.
I physically cannot say that. I physically cannot
Only
say that.
someone
Hey,
would
shout out
It's such like a you know like
The person has to say it.
or like the or like it's like his girlfriend.
Ah.
JoJo, right? Like it's like to me, I can never say that from if my life depended on it. Like there's no way.
The nickname I had in high school growing up was Moses.
What?
Shout-
What are the names? Wait, his nicknames? Just, it's
Jesus
not related.
Jesus
Okay.
Joey, Moses.
I've
what's
never
next?
had like
David?
I've never had a funny like thing happen
No,
to
that's
me.
pretty funny.
Why would people call
Like
him
Moses, because I would be that one guy. Okay, freshman year, no like shame to people who do this, but I wore collared shirts to school and I put my collar up.
Oh my.
That was my fashion for.
We would have never hung out with you.
That was my
We
If we would,
definitely
we
would.
definitely would have hung out with you.
solid fashion statement for like the first half of freshman year of high school. I wore my collar up. If you're out there, you know what I'm talking about. You're an OG, but like actually,
No, you're.
and then
Oh,
like
feel bad for you.
people would say like I'm so Christian. Like I would do all the church things at school, like all the Christian stuff. So they'd be like, you're kind of like just like a Moses, like a leader of Christians.
Actually, you didn't give yourself this nickname.
No,
Oh,
like
okay.
someone came up to me, he's like, you look like you act like a Moses, and they get caught on. But
Interesting.
yes, that was my name growing
I'll
up.
be honest with you. If we're gonna really give each other nicknames, Moses is not the first thing I would think.
Alright.
Yeah, Moses is
Come up with a nickname for Matt.
okay.
What would it be
No,
for Matt?
don't.
Actually,
I know what you're gonna say.
this is hard. I would just say Snorlax.
I would just say horny Matt.
Oh,
He's all.
or what was it called? Masturbator. Wait.
Oh my
Wait.
god!
Wait.
Oh no!
Masturbator.
Master Bae?
Masturbator is.
I meant masturbate.
Oh, masturbate.
Yeah.
Master
I'm
Bae.
Sorry, that's what I
You
say
need
a
to think
lot.
before you speak.
No, that's what I say a lot on Valorant. Like, wow, you're such a baiter, and then we'll be like, oh, masturbator.
Masturbator.
But
I think after this podcast, we should call Suzie Snoozy.
Oh, that's pretty good,
Why?
Snoozy.
We should be sleeping.
I like that. I like that.
Snoozy.
Wait, I had a dream too, like while I fell
During the
asleep.
podcast?
Yeah, I was like,
that was like a 15-second.
Wait,
Yeah,
please,
actually.
please elaborate.
no, I don't remember, but I definitely did
Oh, you
not
dreamt about
realize.
something?
Yeah.
I
For
get it.
Joseph,
I don't know what I would say for Joe.
David.
What? That's just as bad as Moses. You. Oh no.
I don't know, like Jesus. I don't know.
Jesus. Oh my god.
I went to the army.
Oh my gosh.
No, I remember specifically in Bazooka Tag, Sungji was like, "Hey, someone get the military guy."
No, and then upstairs people are like, "Show them the Kunde power."
Yeah. Oh, Kunde Power.
Oh,
Kunde-
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the nickname.
That's
Oh
so bad.
no.
Power,
I love
powerful,
that.
powerful.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
better than Joey.
Or whatever the heck that is.
Well, this is Kunde Power, Snoozy, and Master Bae signing off. If you guys listened this far, thank you for listening. Please give us a like and subscribe. Yeah. If you want to comment anything, please comment. We read all of them. We don't really reply, but they're fun
Yeah,
to
I do.
read. Well, Suzie replies.
What?
Yes, I
haven't
always
looked at that
reply
video.
to
I haven't
my.
looked at that video.
Well,
Shout
yeah.
out to Andrew, aka
Oh, yes.
Bill, for always promoting and
Will?
Bill.
Bill.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bill.
coming
okay.
to
Thank you.
our podcast. Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to try and have a guest sometime soon. So maybe comment a guest or a topic you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah.
And yeah, share with people you know and have a good week.
Like and subscribe.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.